What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com. And the movie I want to take a look at right now is On the Rocks. Now, this one comes from Apple TV Plus and A24. It is directed and written by Sofia Coppola. And this one tells the story of a young mother played by Rashida Jones as she reconnects with her larger-than-life playboy father, played by Bill Murray, on an adventure through New York. This one runs an hour and 36 minutes. And going into this, I was kind of excited because I really do like Lost in Translation quite a bit. And some of the other films that Sofia has done, I have much appreciated. But Lost in Translation is definitely one of my favorites. And I was late to the party when I saw that. I saw that many, many years after it came out. And I finally understood why people liked it. It was the type of film that showcased, for me, and I'm sure other people saw it in other movies, but for me, that was the first time where I saw a more vulnerable and tender performance from Bill Murray that made me realize that he has the range, like a Robin Williams or Jim Carrey, to where when they break through that comedy bubble and they do something completely different and it's an extreme 180, and they pull it off very well, it makes us admire them even more, and then we also just want to see more of that. So, yeah, I really like that movie. If you have not seen that one, please check it out as well. But Bill Murray and Sofia Coppola are re-teaming back up for this one. And so between all that, the Lost in Translation background, and the trailer was actually pretty good. I was excited to see this. I was wanting to, like, is this going to be like an awards play type of film for Apple TV Plus? You know, they don't really have much going on. So, was it a good or bad thing to pick this up and throw it on their service? Saw it. And I like it. It's a delightful little film. And I honestly think that this is probably the best movie get that Apple TV Plus has gotten so far. So good for them. I don't know how many people are subscribed to it. I'm not. But if you are an Apple TV Plus subscriber and you're looking for more of a quieter film, more that focuses on character work and father-daughter relationships, this is your bet right here. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So Sofia Coppola, behind the camera, once again, writing the script. I just want to get like a small thing out of the way, and then I'm just going to get into everything else that's just so great about this film. Visually speaking, not her best. When you watch something like a Lost in Translation, which kind of has similar vibes to this one, you know, it's shot in a different country, and they utilize the environment and the space a little bit more creatively with the cinematography. The colors are more vibrant. There's more movement in shots, and a lot of things are framed in particular ways. For this one, it feels like a very standard film. It's not really. It doesn't have that visual punch that you have come to know from a Sofia Coppola movie. It's just kind of there. New York is a nice backdrop, and I can understand why it's set there, you know, with like the hustle of New York and the people that live in it. It's a nice contrast to like the more like slowed down kind of relationship that we're seeing kind of unfold in front of our eyes. So I can see why that would be a great setting. I just think compared to her previous work, it's not anything that's like, whoa, that was a really cool shot. It is what it is, but you focus more on the performances, the dialogue, the character work, and the story. That's what you care about the most, and that's why this movie is so great. So I can excuse the visual front, and I can just dock it as a thing that's not that interesting, but everything else is, so I can forgive it just a little bit. So the actual story is quite interesting because we have this relationship between this father and daughter that seems pretty estranged. They really haven't seen each other in quite some time. While also Rashida Jones is dealing with her husband, played by Marlon Wayans. Yeah, Marlon Wayans. And she suspects that he is cheating on her. So we have that storyline going. We have the storyline going between her and her father. So there's a bunch of things going on to keep your interest going. And we also just want to know answers. We want to know why her father is the way he is. We want to know, like, is her husband cheating on her? Is it just a complete giant misunderstanding? We want to know all that. So I think it's a very, entertaining story for sure. But I think the emotional depth that comes from this, and what is really at the core of this, is the relationship between Bill Murray and Rashida Jones. So with Bill Murray's character, there is a lot of flaws with this person. He knows that. The audience knows that. He's not hiding anything. But what he understands this late in life is that he needs to reconnect with his actual children and make sure he has an established relationship with them before maybe things happen and he passes. There is a lot going on underneath, and there's a lot of anger and frustration with Rashida Jones. Bill Murray is, sitting there going like, I'm sorry, like I cheated on, your mother, and I'm just a giant playboy, just kind of doing my thing. And he's just kind of nonchalant about it. And she's really frustrated with him. And what I like about that confrontation is that when he did this in her life, she was a child. She couldn't go to him and ask him questions why he was cheating. They're children. They don't know what's going on. And so now that she's a grown adult, she can confront her father, and we can kind of see this thing unravel. And we can see like what is really going on and like why he did it and like just the mistakes he made and like how he's trying to like forgive himself. It's just like, because at the very beginning, like it seems like, oh yeah, they have a pretty nice relationship, but there's something going on underneath. And like as the movie just progresses, we see that kind of just take a turn, and we just see them just kind of devolving in front of their eyes. Like there's just so much like emotional buildup between both of them that I think it's very important for their characters to have the conversations that they're having and try to patch things up before, like I said, things are too late and he passes. And so the character work is just, it's mesmerizing. I really just like the back and forth between them. That chemistry is there. It feels like they have that father and daughter relationship. It's very loving. It's very comfortable. It feels like they are actually father and daughter, but there's a lot of problems there, and we get to see the ups and the downs. But that's what a relationship is. It is messy, and it feels grounded. It feels real. And so Sofia Coppola knows that. That's what we focus on. That's what she focuses on in the storytelling, and it makes us care. It makes us care about the resolution between, like just patching everything up. Like, get what you need to get out, being angry at each other, forgive each other, and, do something about it. Because that frustration is just, it's going to cause nothing but, pain for the rest of your lives. So yeah, I love just everything about, like, those two people. And then, of course, the B storyline with her and her husband, I was actually kind of surprised. Because, regardless of her husband cheated or not, I'm not going to say if he did, but at the end, when he's having a final conversation with his wife, I completely understood where he was coming from. And she understood where he was coming from. And that's where it's one of those things to where that also feels real, where couples sometimes don't communicate and their feelings and their emotions kind of get swept under the rug and they don't really know what's going on in the other person's head. So having that conversation at the end to wrap up their storyline was really sweet. And it was really, like I said, just kind of realistic to where like I felt for him, I felt for her, I felt for everyone. I was just thinking in the back of my mind, please just communicate more. But I did like that resolution between her and her husband as well. And even with the resolution between her and her father, just everything, which is like this roller coaster of emotions. We hit the climax, and then we kind of like mellow out, and the story ends, and you're like, wow, that was actually a pleasant little journey. And I liked being with these people. I liked being with these characters. It kind of sucks that it's only an hour and 36 minutes. I wish it was more, but I'll take it. At least it didn't overstay its welcome. Okay, so I talked about the story and the characters a little bit. The performances are great. Because what I like about Sofia Coppola's direction and how she like directs these actors in this, particular scenes, she doesn't use a lot of dialogue or a lot of explanation, expository, anything. She actually lets the actors do a lot of facial acting, body language, and that speaks more to me as an audience member than someone just talky. There's a lot of scenes where they're just like sitting there uncomfortable. They are, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say to each other. Once again, hitting that like authenticity, nerve with people with like maybe your relationship with your own father or your mother or your sibling or whatever. She allows them to do less is more and just really kind of sit there and do a lot of facial work, a lot of body language, to where if they don't say anything in the scene, we understand the relationship twofold, just within them staring at each other or just sitting there having a drink and looking off, into space or whatever. I know a lot more about anyone's relationship with just them staring at each other or just them sitting there in silence. I get it all right there. But that's what's so great about Bill Murray, is that he has that ability to tone things down and act a certain way to where like we understand what's going on in his head. He's having complications on how to communicate with his daughter. And we don't know why until we find out at the very end, but he pulls that off. Rashida Jones is also the same way. When she is toned down and she just sits there and kind of stares at you, like you can also understand where she is coming from. And so that's just, once again, just the kind of like delicate, subtle performances from both of them under Coppola's direction. It's just lovely. I like it. It's just, I like their, I want to watch it again. I like their relationship. Other performances kind of bouncing off of that. Marlon Wayans he's serviceable. I think his end scene is definitely the best thing about his character. And it feels like they're definitely married, I guess. It's not like the chemistry is not as strong as like between her and her father, but I do think it's serviceable for the movie and the story. But I do like when Marlon Wayans gets out of his comfort zone as well, doing other things besides stupid comedies on Netflix. I do think that man also has range. Watch Requiem for a Dream. I think he does a great job too. Everyone else is fine. I think their kids are adorable in the film. They definitely feel like her kids for sure. Like they have that kind of like motherly, child bond. It feels like that's actually her. I think my only problem with that is just Marlon Wayans maybe sometimes he feels left out of the family, and he is gone half the time anyways, but he does feel kind of like apart from the family, to where it doesn't feel like it's a complete, whole, in terms of performance and family structure. But yeah, I have really no other issues with the other performances, because you mainly focus on these two anyways. Guys, I really like this one. I'm going to give it a B. Just a really good movie. I might give it a B+ later on if I rewatch it, but I think just on a first impression, a B for me is good for me. That made no sense. I tried to make it rhyme, but I sounded stupid. So let me know what you thought of On the Rocks or Lost in Translation, or just anything I talked about in this review. Let me know down below. And if I don't reply to it, I at least read all the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, do just that. Subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications on whenever I review anything on this channel. If you're more of a podcast person, you want this in audio form, you can do just that. Go to the Real Me and Colin Movie podcast feed, and you can subscribe to that feed if you want these more in audio form and you don't want to see my ugly mug. But that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.